kind of growing up, church culture was like just a normal part of life. My dad was the worship leader every week. My mom played on the worship team. I was at church every week, went to Sunday school, knew all the Bible stories. Despite having this exposure to all this excellent and great culture, all my childhood really struggled with this sense of feeling invisible to the world for various reasons. Home life was great, safe home, great parents. My older sister, we were really close. But even in the midst of all these things, just had this sense of, I don't know if anyone really knows that I exist. It really just began to kind of question my purpose, my existence. And so, I'd make friends, and then they'd move away. So each year, it became increasingly more difficult to make friends, because then they would move away that same school year. So it just further compounded this sense of, I'm totally alone. What's the point? So I had a really dear grandmother who ended up passing away when I was getting ready to go into high school. That was pretty rough. She was really, really special to me. And then my sister moved away to college, and I was totally alone at that point. I began to contemplate suicide daily. Like as a regular thing, I would think about it. How would I do it? Why would I do it? For me, it did not seem like an uncomfortable thing to think about. It felt welcome. It felt like an end, finally something that could probably work, would probably bring me relief. So, believe it or not, earlier that same school year, I was on a school field trip. I went to this mall and bought this huge knife, this huge dagger on a school field trip, believe it or not. Took it home and then hid it in my room, because I knew there's a reason why I bought this knife, right? So I had access. So one night, I had my plan, I had my date, knew how I was gonna do it. I locked my door, I blinded my windows, and I was all alone with this huge knife in hand, ready to do it. And so at the moment where I wanted things to end, I was done being in pain, I wanted relief, I was desperate for closure on everything up until this point. At the moment I was ready to just drive this knife through my chest, I just felt this overwhelming presence in the room. It didn't freak me out, it wasn't scary, it wasn't odd. It was just this sense of, wait, something's happening here right now. So I couldn't move. All I could do was kind of think about what was happening, and it just dawned on me in that very moment, this is the presence of God. The more I thought about it, it was unmistakable, it was undeniable. Nothing could copy what I was experiencing. I couldn't move my own body. And so following that event, the scripture, Matthew 28, where Jesus tells the disciples to wait for me on the mountain, and they go up there, it says that when they saw him, that they worshiped him. And then he tells them that all authority has been given on heaven and earth to me. He commissions them to go do amazing things, and then he says this, which has changed my life forever since then, is that I am always with you to the very end. Which for me was, well, I'm at the end. I want the end. I long for the end. I'm desperate for an end. And he was able to satisfy that right then and there. Not just because of his power, which was arresting, but because he's like, I will always be with you to the end. And so after that, it was just, the presence of God became such a hunger for me. So despite church experience, God was real. He existed. He was able, and he was powerful to stop my own hand against myself.